getting older is a part of life, and it's just a thing that like happens. You really can't fight it. The best thing you can do with it is to embrace it and use it, I would say. Because if you're not doing that and you're resisting it, then just it's going to mess with your sense of self, and it's going to mess with your accomplishment of anything that you would like to accomplish. Getting older is kind of like a slow death, or the process of death. It's like you go from the beginning, and then your body kind of runs itself down as you go through, and then you finally get to the end, I guess, and die. If you make it through life without dying earlier, and when you get through the parts of your life where you're making big age changes, and then, I don't know, it can be like intense. Like going from a kid to an adult, and then from an adult to like an old person. Like at a certain point, you're just like old. People look at you and they don't even think of you as like capable or whatever. They look at you as like an old person, like somebody who should be retired or whatever. But, I'm not there yet. Just with like graduation and stuff, it's like high school graduation. It's kind of like the end of childhood. It's like time to be getting along, time to be moving on, doing things for myself and like taking responsibility and such. And, it has its pros as well. Probably more pros for me, but it's going to vary by person. And you lose a lot of friends or whatever that you've made. The main thing is you lose your acquaintances that you've grown like used to. It's like because you might not get in contact with them again. Because you mainly get in contact with people that you have like conversations with. If it's an acquaintance, you're probably not going to see them again, especially if they're going to some other university, which they probably are, or no university at all. Getting older is kind of fucked up, but it's not like I could think of any better way for it to be. It's like it keeps things interesting or whatever. Time flies really fast, but I don't know. I say that, but I guess I don't know what it means because people say that all the time. It's like, how can time fly fast? It doesn't really make sense, but we say it anyway. So it's like, I guess it means you didn't want it to be such a short period of time, so it fell fast. I don't know. I kind of was clinging to my childhood throughout my childhood. I was like, oh no, I don't want to end my childhood. But there's plenty, again, as I said earlier, there's plenty of advantages of being older. So as far as like what you can do, it's kind of like in a video game, you have more options once you like unlock a certain level. That's kind of what getting older is like. So now I have more levels. I have more like shit I can do. Like I could really do some wild stuff that I wouldn't have been able to like last year or this year even. So it really is what you make of it. Some people get stuck in like they reach a certain age and then their personality never changes from that age, and then they're like stuck as like a 15-year-old in like a 50-year-old's body or whatever. And that's not really effective for like goal achievement. I wouldn't say it's bad because I don't think that makes sense, but I will say it doesn't probably make sense for goal achievement. Like if you want something, it probably won't be easy to get it if you're acting like a 15-year-old. And that makes sense. But it's hard. People can't help it. They cling to what's comfortable. So some people are comfortable acting like a 15-year-old. Some people actually works, but most it doesn't, I'd say. You kind of want to do a good job. You kind of like want to do a good job with your life, and you don't want to waste it. But a lot of that kind of comes down to like social pressure, I guess, because I think a big motivator for most people is like appearances to others, which is wild, but it's definitely a major component. That makes sense, because if people like you or whatever, then that's good for survival. So I guess it's an evolutionary thing. But I don't know what you do with that. If you know something is just an evolutionary thing, an impulse, then it's like, I guess you're kind of free from it, because you can be like, oh, I'm just not going to get manipulated by it. If you start seeing your impulses to act, like your impulses and such as like manipulations from the universe or whatever, or like attempts at just like attempts at making you less happy, then you can probably like be pretty efficient in like letting them go. But I think that only happens when somebody like is very serious about it and meditates and journals a lot and is serious about it. And most people aren't serious about that, because people are already doing kind of what's the most comfortable for them. What I'm surprised about is when I see like 27-year-olds or whatever doing stuff like getting married and stuff, because it's like they're only a bit older than me, and it seems like crazy to like have that big of a life change so soon. It's like, whoa, that's crazy. But that's what happens, and I guess it makes sense. It makes sense because it's what happens. So yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about age for now. Thanks for listening.